I never believed in ghosts or any of that paranormal crap. But lately my life's been getting weird. Scary weird. And last night something happened that I don't think I'll ever forget. The kind of thing that still makes my blood run cold and puts a chill in every inch of my skin. It started about a week ago, maybe a little less. I've lost track of time. I'll go in order. I'm not going to bore you with a whole bio. It doesn't matter. I'm a young guy, 23 now, living alone in a condo my parents bought me for my 20th. 3 years here, everything calm until now. Like I said, it kicked off about a week back. I got home from work a little before midnight, tired as hell. Last shift before my days off. I didn't want anything except to face plant on the couch and shut my eyes. I'm a bartender at a restaurant, and tonight was slammed every loud, needy person in the city, of course. Hey, can I get a cocktail? Which one's yummy? Can you just make me something? Ma'am, there's a menu literally right in front of you. Read it. God, it drives me nuts. And the way some folks act like royalty lip fillers courtesy of daddy's credit card, like the whole world owes them a throne. I swear, sometimes. Anyway, I showered, crashed on the couch, scrolled my phone for half an hour texting my best friend Val. Val's a lovable screw-up girls, partying, getting into nonsense. Truth is, he talks a big game, but it's mostly the partying. He texted that he was coming over tomorrow with beer and a hookah. Day off for me? Fine. I could relax and have a couple. I killed the phone, rolled toward the wall, and passed out instantly. Shockingly, I woke up early. Around 9. Showered again, fully human. While I was making coffee in the kitchen, I heard my phone ringing in the bedroom. I dragged myself back and picked up. It was Val. At 9 in the morning. You ready? I also invited a couple girls for tonight. You couldn't call later? You're lucky I'm awake. Ooh, someone's grumpy. Anyway, we'll be there around 5. Cool. Cool. And make some food. I'm coming hungry. Yeah, I'll cook. Perfect. See you, old man. He hung up. I went back to the kitchen. Morning without coffee isn't morning, at least for me. I figured today would be low-key, but I had a feeling I'd end up drunk. Didn't really want to, but Val's bigger than me. If I say no, he practically arm wrestles a beer into my hand. It's happened. Not eager for a repeat. So I hit the store, cooked, messed around on the computer, whatever. None of that matters. What matters is what started after they showed up. Right on time, about 5, a rideshare pulled up. I was out on the balcony and watched Val hop out with 2 pretty decent-looking girls, all important faces, strutting toward my building. I had food ready and was set to play host. I'll spare the petty details. We lit the hookah, poured beer, and hung out. I got to know the girls. I actually liked one of them, Karina. Short, curvy brunette. Anyway, on with it. We drank, we smoked. Doing that with nothing on in the background is boring, so the girls suggested a movie. We couldn't find anything, and somehow ended up on a random video chat site roulette style. I'd heard of that garbage, never actually used it. We messed around on there for an hour, maybe more. Some women were flashing, some creeps were doing gross stuff off camera, straight up disgusting. There were a few funny people mixed in, to be fair. It was getting dark outside. Beers were running low, coals on the hookah dying. I was relieved it might be winding down, but nope. Val grabbed the other girl. Katie, I think, and said, "We're running to the store for more. Don't you two get into trouble." He slipped on my house slippers, threw on a robe like it was his, and slammed the door. They were back in 20. Val was covered in hickeys, smug as hell. I'll probably see that stupid grin in my nightmares. We'd left the chat site running in the background. While Val was wrestling with his coat in the hallway, something on the screen caught my eye. A guy was sitting there. He stood up, walked to the far side of his room, and there was a noose hanging. "Hey, guys, look now!" I yelled. "Val, get in here!" He ran in. "What? Look, holy, is he about to hang himself?" "I don't know." The guy came back, grabbed a stool, and carried it under the noose. "Nope, he's really going to do it," Val said. I started typing. "Dude, stop. Don't do this. Come have a drink with us. Talk to us." The guy stepped close to the webcam. He must have read it. Then I remembered I had a mic. I plugged it in. "Man, don't. You hear me?" I said into the mic. "He's faking," Val muttered, popping a bottle. Maybe the guy heard that because he smiled. It was the thinnest, nastiest smile I've ever seen. Rotten yellow teeth. And I swear, maybe it was the camera. There was something moving in his mouth, like bugs. Maybe I imagined it. But when he smiled, Val idiot smiled back, like it was a joke. The girl squealed and shrank into the couch. The guy suddenly hopped up, slipped the noose around his neck, and kicked the stool away. Karina gasped. I sobered up in an instant. Val kept insisting it was staged. "It's a prank. Come on." How would it be a prank when he reacted to what I typed and to my voice? He predicted that too? He hung there, legs jerking. It was horrible. After a few seconds, he went still. The girls whipped out their phones and started filming. Val just stood there, stunned. After that, I didn't want anything. Not beer, not music, nothing. We finished what Val had bought, mechanically, and by around midnight, I started pushing everyone out. I asked Karina to stay the night. Yeah, I wanted that. But she said she had to work early. She gave me her number, though, and she looked like she liked me back. Val and Katie could barely keep their hands off each other, sloppy kissing every 2 minutes like a pair of animals. It was getting old. I called a ride for Karina. The other two said they were heading to a club out past the city. Good for them. I cleaned up and crashed around 2. My phone woke me. Well, morning. More like 1 in the afternoon. It was Val's mom. She was crying, asking if I knew where he was. His phone was off. He wasn't home. I told her he'd left my place during the night. I figured he was passed out drunk in some hotel with Katie. I calmed her down as best I could and hung up. The day drifted by. I barely left the apartment. Movies, games, computer, nothing else to do. Evening came. I showered, had tea, got in bed. 20 minutes of mindless scrolling, and my phone rang again. Val's mom. She was sobbing so hard I couldn't make out words at first. Then she got it out. Val had hanged himself at an abandoned factory outside town, right by that country club and restaurant I won't name. I guess he and Katie went there after my place. His mom was shattered. Imagine getting that call about your kid. I threw on clothes, called a car, and headed to Val's. I was shaking. Stupid, dark thoughts crowding in. I burst into the apartment and found his mom, Mrs. Val's mom to you and me, at the kitchen table, red-eyed, with 3 cops in the living room. One officer took me into another room and started asking what happened last night. I told him everything, except the one thing I'd somehow blocked out. The guy in the video chat. I didn't mention it. The cop told me they'd found Val in the old sugar plant, hanging from a beam almost up by the roof. They couldn't figure out how he got up there. No stairs, all the ladders gone. The catwalk rusted to nothing. There's no way he could have climbed that high. It made no sense. About 300 yards away, they found Katie. She was naked. Her body was covered in scrapes and cuts. And her head. It was twisted all the way around. The cops said they'd never seen anything like it. Murder is one thing. But how did Val get to that beam? That was the question. And as the officer talked, that guy on the video site slammed into my mind. I didn't want to believe in demons or whatever, but the coincidence was too strange, too ugly. I was still shaking, couldn't pull myself together. It was deep night by then. I was still at Val's apartment. The cops had left. I'd given my statement, and they didn't need anything else. I sat in the kitchen with his mom. She wasn't crying anymore. Maybe there were no tears left. I couldn't comfort her. She just sat there, turning the pages of his baby albums. I didn't want to leave her alone, but I had to go home. I stepped out of the building and called a rideshare. While I waited on the curb, my brain spun through 100 thoughts. But I couldn't shake the guy in the noose. I kept feeling like it was all connected to him, as much as I didn't want to believe it. I got home, kicked off my shoes, headed to the kitchen for water, then froze. Lying on the table was a length of old, frayed rope, maybe 12 to 16 inches long. My heart started hammering, head light, palms sweating. What the hell is this doing here? I grabbed it and tossed it in the trash. The fear kept creeping closer, like the walls were leaning in. I checked the time, 5 a.m. No way I was sleeping. My head was jammed with it. No logic, just dread. I didn't doubt anymore that it all tied back to that man. But how? He hung himself. Or did he? Why was the rope on my table? A sign? A threat? I sat on the couch with my head in my hands until around 7, when the doorbell jolted me. It was the same cop who'd questioned me at Val's place. "Morning. Can I come in?" "Yeah," I muttered, and led him to the kitchen. "Do you know a Karina Novikova?" he asked, sliding a photo from a folder. "Yes. She was with us that night. I sent her home when Val left." "Why? What happened?" "She died overnight," he said. "What do you mean, how?" "I don't know exactly. They found her at her dorm, the Ag College by State U. She was strangled with a clothesline, whether it was suicide or not. I can't say. But there was an interesting video on her phone. A man hanging himself. You know anything about that? Did you watch something like that night? Some kind of subliminal frame or whatever? Could it have messed with their heads? It all looks suspicious. We watched it, I admitted. He studied me. I get the feeling you're holding something back. You do know filing a false statement can be a felony, right? I know. So I told him. The random video chat, the man, the smile, how he reacted to my messages and voice. My hands were shaking. "So it was live," he said. "He saw you. You saw him." "Yeah." "Then no offense, why are you still alive, if it's what you say?" "I don't know." My voice cracked. "I'm scared. This morning I found a piece of rope on my kitchen table. I've never had rope here. The door was locked. Windows too. How did it get in?" Puzzlement crossed his face. He glanced at his watch and stood. "I've got to go. Here's my number. The second anything feels off, call me. Agreed?" "Agreed." We shook hands. He downed a quick coffee. flashed the call me gesture, and left. I went to my room, empty as a shell. I didn't want food or water or sleep. I was waiting for it to come for me. It didn't. A day passed. 2. I started to settle barely. Then it came back. The night before, last I got home from work, wrecked as usual. I stepped into my bedroom, and there was a body hanging in the doorway. I nearly lost it right there. I shook my head hard, slapped my cheeks, looked again. Nothing. Gone. A trick of the brain. God. I hit the shower, trying to rinse the panic off. A soft clatter came from the bedroom, something small falling. I turned off the water and listened. Silence. Then the power died. That time, I truly panicked. I grabbed a towel, threw on clothes in the dark, and stepped into the hall. Pitch black. My bedroom faces the balcony, and even in the dim I could see it. Someone was hanging out there. I told myself it was another hallucination. It wasn't. He didn't fade. He swayed. I crept toward the switch. The instant I flicked the light on, it happened. The thing hanging there dropped to its feet. Alive. Or not. I don't know. It turned, and I knew that face. The same man from the webcam. Crooked, half-rotten teeth. Skin mottled with old bruises. Eyes that seemed to catch on mine. The stench coming through the closed glass was unbearable. A walking corpse. Shock burned all thought away. He raised thin arms and started pounding the glass. The balcony door was locked, and the glass was solid. I had just formed the thought, thank God it's thick, when a thin crack snaked across it, and the pane blew inward with a crash. My ears rang. My brain clicked back on just in time to see him climbing over the sill toward me, muttering in a rasp I couldn't understand. I bolted for the kitchen. Knife. Window. Why I didn't run for the front door, I'll never know. Second floor, not far to drop. I yanked the window open, snatched a knife, and jumped. The impact knocked the breath out of me. Pain exploded in my shins. I'd landed in a planter bed, lucky. Nothing broken. I looked up. The thing had scrambled onto the exterior wall and was spidering down toward me. Adrenaline took over. I ran. Hard. After 5 minutes flat out, I dared to look back. No one behind me. I spun around and nearly screamed. It was standing right in front of me. How? It was nose to nose. In one motion, it threw a loop of rope over my head and yanked. The noose bit into my throat. But my brain was working now. I jammed the knife up, sliced through the rope, and drove the blade straight into its head. It shrieked high and wrong and reeled. While it writhed, I ran. I didn't call the cop. I wanted out far away, fast. Thank God I'd grabbed my phone. I called a car and rode straight to my parents' place in the small town outside the city. It hasn't come after me since. A week later, I heard the detective who'd taken my statement was dead. He hanged himself at the precinct. I don't know what that thing was. I'm afraid to go back to my place. Maybe someday I will. But not now.